There we go. Could I get any more professional than this? I don't think so. Anyhow, so we're going to pursue happiness, okay? Well, how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, let's look for things that make me happy. Well, let's see. Nachos, they make me happy. Maybe I should eat a lot of nachos and that'll make me happy. Hmm. Not sure about that because when I eat a lot of nachos, I get heartburn and put on weight. Uh, let's see. Fishing might make someone happy. I'll just fish all the time and that'll make me happy. But if I just fish and don't do anything else, well, some people and someone I have in mind in the ACT world here could actually sign on to that. But in any case, most people would get bored after a while of fishing. So we might crave something else. So it looks like happiness might have to do with some kind of balance where it's not just all one thing. It's not all nachos and it's not all fishing. Uh, we could spend a lot of time trying to figure out what happiness is so that we can go and get it and hold on to it. Or we could question whether that word is as useful as we think it is. For example, many people come to me because they say they are not happy, and their goal is to become happy. Interestingly, as they have structured their lives around this goal of pursuing happiness, they have become more, or let's say less and less and less happy. Now, this is common enough that in the ACT world, we have a big superstar, Russ Harris, who wrote a book that is the book that I recommend the most frequently, The Happiness Trap. So obviously, I am cynical, or at least let's say skeptical about the usefulness of the word happiness, and I'm ready to sign on for the idea that it is a trap. But how is happiness a trap? And if it's a trap, well, does that nullify the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? I won't go political here. I'm going to stick to my bailiwick of psychology and use some handy GRE words like bailiwick. But pursuing happiness, if that were going to work in the sense that we mean happiness in the year 2014, if that were going to work, I propose that it would work more frequently if it were workable. What I'm finding, though, is that the more people think about their happiness, I am going to get it. Kind of like I get a hot dog and jam it in my face. I'm going to get happiness and I'm going to keep it. The more people structure their lives that way, it seems like the more frequently they might come to someone like me saying, I'm just not happy. Why? Well, there's a lot of answers to this question. One is that you might not have a chair handy, and if you need one, that could make you unhappy. Another is that happiness is not very specific. And so someone says, I want to be happy, and you say, okay, well, how are you happy? Well, they might be able to think of things that make them temporarily happy, like nachos or fishing, but when you get into the discussion, you find out that this is an unsustainable situation, nachos and fishing or whatever else it is. So, do we throw away this notion of happiness? Somehow that really goes against our grain. As human beings, gosh, I mean, the Dalai Lama and all kinds of other people that are widely admired say, we're here to make others happy or to become happy or something to do with happiness. So we have to all get lucky. Happiness, originally, happy meaning lucky. Well, we can't be lucky all the time. So clearly that's not what, someone as wise and revered as the Dalai Lama probably doesn't mean be lucky. Don't worry, be happy. Great song. Was originally a slogan by, I believe, Meher Baba, a spiritual teacher that Pete Townsend was interested in for a while. For those of you who aren't ancient or an admirer of ancient music like me, Pete Townsend is a guitarist for a band called The Who. In any case, don't worry, be happy. happy, happy, happy. Where do we go from here? Here is my proposal. If you think you want to be happy, and many people think that they do, and many people put a lot of stock in that, maybe we won't get far convincing you that happiness is not worth attaining. Maybe the best way to go is as follows. Identify what it is that you care about the most. That if you have to give up almost everything, what 2 or 3 activities would you want to hang on to? Let's say you lost all your limbs, arms and legs. What 2 or 3 things would still be important to you? Or, if you want to be a little more positive about it, what do you want to write about when you are 95 years old and in wonderful health, but at the end of your life, in your memoirs? What would be the top 2 or 3 bullet points about what your life's about? I propose that those things, and it's usually family, relationships, friendships, sometimes animals, nature, sometimes music, art, things like that tend to rise right to the top. It's not usually work. What if, instead of pursuing happiness, what if you took those things and put them front and center on your list of priorities and actually made painful sacrifices to spend more time doing those things? So if your relationships with your family, let's say, rise to the top of your list, if I ask you what you want in your memoir, what do you want to write about when you're 95, and I was a good father or mother or cousin, aunt, uncle, whatever it is, rises to the top of your list, why not look at your schedule for the week and see if you can't make some hard choices about greater contact with that value and a little less contact with something else that might be, well, let's say it might seem urgent and it might tend to hog up bandwidth. You know, I can hear you saying or thinking, yeah, but it's just not possible. And if that's the case, turn off the video. Go watch something else. You're wasting your time. But if it might be possible to squeeze down the stuff that's not that important to you, actually, you feel compelled to do it. You feel pressure to do it. But it's not really what you want to write about in your memoirs. Then maybe trim that back and increase the amount of time you spend doing that memoir-worthy stuff. Okay, I like doing this. I like talking at my computer like a lunatic dressed in a Hawaiian shirt with a nerdy pair of glasses and an unkempt beard. I don't know why, I just do. So I'm perfectly happy taking part of July 4th and doing this and putting this out in the world for everyone to laugh at, to put their thumbs down or up or ignore or whatever. I can't tell you why. It's just part of my value system. Why analyze it? What I will tell you is that when I identify something that is so satisfying to me that I would want to write about it in my memoir, then I try to do more of it. And I try to squeeze down stuff like talking to insurance companies and other things that are odious to me, but that I have to do sometimes. And maybe we'll leave this discussion of the pursuit of happiness right here with a possible door open to continue at some point. Where's that stop button?